Donald had always prided himself on being a thoughtful husband. He had meticulously planned every detail of a surprise night out for Emily, hoping to rekindle the romance that had sparked their relationship years ago. The kids were set to stay with his parents for the weekend, and Donald was eager to whisk Emily away for a night of fine dining and fun. But his well-intentioned surprise was about to take a heart-wrenching turn. On a crisp Friday evening, Donald left his suburban home at 7:30, taking the kids to his parents' house. He was set to return quickly, hoping to surprise Emily with an impromptu date night. He envisioned their evening filled with laughter, good food, and the kind of intimacy that had become rare in their busy lives. But as he drove home, an unsettling sense of foreboding began to creep in. By 11:30, Donald was back in his neighborhood. As he turned onto his street, he noticed an unfamiliar truck parked in front of his house. His first instinct was to brush it off as a visitor to a neighbor's home. But a strange sense of unease tugged at him. He decided to park a few houses away, intending to sneak into the house through the basement door to surprise Emily. As he quietly entered through the basement, he heard sounds from the floor above. At first, he thought Emily might be enjoying some alone time, but then he heard a man's voice. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. His heart pounded violently as he crept up the stairs, determined to uncover the truth. Donald moved cautiously, his breath shallow with anxiety. When he reached the kitchen, he noticed the door to the living room was slightly ajar. The sounds from the other room grew louder, unmistakably indicating that Emily was not alone. He pulled out his phone, deciding to document what he was about to witness. He positioned his phone discreetly around the corner of the wall, aiming the camera towards the living room. The sight that greeted him through his phone screen was a visceral blow. Emily was with a man Donald had never seen before. The scene was one of betrayal that he could hardly believe. He stood frozen, his mind struggling to process the sight of his wife in such an intimate moment with another man. The video recorded everything: their actions, their whispered comments about time, and the connection between them that was both painful and humiliating. Emily and her lover eventually moved upstairs, their conversation about heading to the bedroom echoing in Donald's ears. He knew he needed to confront the situation, but the pain and confusion rendered him immobile. Instead, he focused on gathering evidence. He entered the living room, searching for any clues. He found the man's pants, retrieved his wallet, and took pictures of his driver's license, learning his name and address. Donald's heartache was compounded by the fact that he couldn't simply leave to pick up the kids. He was trapped in a whirlwind of emotions, unable to figure out the next steps. Overwhelmed, he sat in his car for a half hour, his thoughts racing and tears streaming down his face. Finally, Donald composed himself enough to drive back home. He pulled into the driveway, made noise to alert Emily of his arrival, and went through the garage, pretending he had come back early to surprise her. As he entered the house, Emily appeared flustered but quickly regained her composure. She wore a robe and mentioned she had been preparing for a bath. Her excitement about the surprise date night seemed genuine, but Donald was numb. Emily poured them both glasses of wine and suggested they enjoy a pregame before getting ready. Donald, consumed by the betrayal and his own pain, barely spoke. He noticed, out of the corner of his eye, the man sneaking downstairs and heading toward the basement. Donald's heart sank further as he realized the man was escaping the scene, but he remained passive, not wanting to reveal his knowledge. The evening unfolded in a haze of emotional numbness. Emily continued with the night, as if nothing was amiss, her actions marked by a disquieting normalcy. Donald, unable to confront her or the situation directly, let the night pass in a fog of forced pretense. Since that fateful night, Donald had been trapped in a cycle of torment. The video he had recorded became his constant companion, a painful reminder of the betrayal that had shattered his trust. He replayed it repeatedly, each viewing deepening his anguish. The intimate moments he had once shared with Emily were now tainted by the knowledge of her infidelity. Emily sensed something was wrong. She noticed Donald's withdrawal and the dark circles under his eyes. She asked him repeatedly if he was okay, but Donald could not bring himself to reveal the truth. The pain was too raw, and the weight of the betrayal too heavy to confront directly. Donald's life became a daily struggle. He went through the motions of his routines, his mind haunted by the betrayal he had witnessed. His work suffered, his interactions with Emily were strained, and he found solace only in the painful familiarity of the video. Each time he watched it, he felt a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. The turning point came when Donald reached out to a close friend, someone who had been a pillar of support during his darkest times. Through their conversations, Donald began to explore his feelings and the options available to him. He realized that staying in the marriage while carrying the weight of the betrayal was slowly destroying him. With his friend's encouragement, Donald sought professional help. Therapy sessions helped him untangle the emotional knots and start to process the betrayal. He faced the painful decision of whether to confront Emily with the evidence or to find a way to move forward without her. In the end, Donald chose to confront Emily. The conversation was excruciating. Emily, confronted with the irrefutable evidence, broke down. The confrontation led to an emotional dialogue filled with tears, apologies, and a deep, painful honesty that had been missing from their relationship. As they navigated the aftermath, Donald and Emily faced the reality of their fractured relationship. The road to healing was long and fraught with challenges. They both sought counseling, individually and as a couple, to address the deep wounds and to work towards understanding what led to the betrayal. Donald's journey was one of reclaiming his self-worth and finding a path forward. The echoes of betrayal would always linger, but he began to rebuild his life with a newfound clarity and strength. Emily's journey was about making amends and understanding the gravity of her actions. The story of Donald and Emily was one of intense emotion, heartache, and eventual growth. It was a testament to the complexity of human relationships and the resilience required to navigate the shadows of betrayal. Through the turmoil and pain, they each found a way to confront their truths and, in some cases, emerge stronger on the other side.